Hey, it's America's Supermom. Thank you for joining me on my podcast. This series is the Corona Chronicles. I created this so that we would have an outlet of positivity in the midst of a lot of negativity. You know what I'm talking about. All the news, the fear around this virus, how it can affect us, what the new normal is looking like, and how so many things have changed that a lot of people feel like um, it is the end of the world, so to speak. So, this podcast was created so that those of us who have hope, who are willing to move forward with this new normal and innovate new things that will help us to be creative and positive. That is what this platform is for us to come together and share that positivity and that light with those who may need it. So if you're interested in sharing your insight, please reach out because we can never have enough positive news. So sit back and enjoy the show.
So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I'm really excited about my next guest, Anthony Piselli. I've actually met his wife first, and that was how we got connected, was through his wife, Janet. And so I've been able to get to know him quite well over the past month or so. We have been connected to another group of people. We meet on a regular basis in the mornings for coffee virtually. So it has been a great connection, just being able to be insightful, have different ideas, stretch out of our comfort zone, especially during this time of uncertainty and with a lot of the challenges that are going on in the current events, from the virus to racial protests, you name it, whatever. We're just going through life together and being able to add our own uh, twist on how we see this new normal is going to pan out, which none of us really knows. But
No.
it's great to be able to have a dialogue about what we think could happen. But really excited for Anthony to be here today. I enjoy our conversations. And at this time, I'm going to give him the opportunity to introduce himself before we get into the interview.
Hey, gang, I'm Anthony Piselli. Good to be here. It's good to be with you, Lachelle. And I do
Hmm.
tell you, those coffee times in the morning with local chamber influencers is
Hmm.
an absolute blast. You missed out on a good one today. It was Throwback Friday, and
Oh,
we all discussed what we were doing when we were 16 years old.
wow.
Oh boy, what a you can imagine what happened. A
Right.
lot of hooting and hollering going on.
Awesome.
uh,
So that is something. So yeah, we never know what we're going to end up with at the coffee table. So that's
no,
really
never.
fun.
Every day,
So
yeah, every day is a new challenge.
so true. Now, so we are going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is you being Santa, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
so talk to us about your journey with being Santa, how that all started.
Okay. Well, um, I'm going to have to say that it goes back to 2006 when my sister-in-law
Mhm.
asked me. That was the very first time I ever donned a Santa costume.
Okay.
And she asked me to be Santa for her bookstore. She had a
Mhm.
children's bookstore, and I was to be Santa at Christmas time and stand out on the sidewalk and attract people in, bring people
Right.
into the store, and then there was gonna be story time with Santa. So
Mhm.
Santa sat down and she had me dressed up like Father Christmas and all this and whatever, and then we
Mhm.
read a story, and then that was pretty much it for the night. Fast forward to 2015 or 16, I think,
Mhm.
um, when I'm a member of our local Knights of Columbus here through my church,
Mhm.
and because I had a beard and, and it was graying, they turned
Mhm.
to me and said, "Would you be Santa for us?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? I'll give everything a shot. What's fun."
Mhm.
it's all in fun, and
Mhm.
I love being with kids and stuff. So I did, and boy, I tell you what an experience that was. They gave me this suit. One of the
Mhm.
guys is retired from the fire department, so he went to the fire department to get a Santa suit. This
Mhm.
Santa suit looked like it'd been through a couple of fires. the yeah, the boot toppers were held together with electrical tape, and the belt was a fake leather belt, and all this and everything else, and
Mhm.
the beard and the wig that they gave me to wear. I was like, oh my god, it was yellow with cigarette smoke, and I was like, I'm not gonna wear this. Sorry. So I went out as myself, pretty much, and had a blast with it. And then they invited
Mhm.
me, and I just like, okay, everybody. The kids just went crazy. Kids went crazy. Santa was there, and
Mhm.
then they invited me back the next year.
Mhm.
And as October rolled around, they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to have you be Santa again." I said, "I'd love to," and I said, "But I'd like to get reimbursed for buying a new suit."
Right.
So
Right.
I went on eBay and I got myself a cheap suit, and I still have it,
Mhm.
and it was great. The kids loved it, and it was a better suit than what I had the previous year.
Mhm.
So it was really an eye opener to see who really really enjoys being with Santa, and it's I had the little kids,
Mm.
even the screamers, and I had the middle-aged kids who were like on the verge of not believing and everything else.
Mhm.
And then I had these seniors, the grandparents
Mhm.
who came over to sit on Santa's lap to have their picture taken with Santa.
Mhm.
And it was them who really it was creepy at first to have old people sitting in my lap, but I got used to it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is fun. This is fun."
Mhm.
And then
That's awesome.
I've been their Santa ever since. And after that year, people turned to me and said, you really should do this. You could make some money doing this." I was like, "Really?" And so I turned to some friends who are
Mhm.
Santas, and I met a great guy. His name is George McTire, and he and I bonded like brothers, and so we are brothers in red.
Mhm.
And he connected me with a friend of his, and he had a business where he hires Santas and Easter bunnies and clowns and all kinds of stuff. And so he hired me to go work for him down in New York, um,
Mm.
at a small town, in Westchester,
Mhm.
and it was a blast. It was
Mhm.
a blast. And so that was my first year as a professional Santa.
Mhm.
The next year, which was last year, my second year as a professional Santa,
Wow.
I wound up going to working at Bass Pro Shops, and that
Ah.
was an experience. I made
Mhm.
more money, and but I got to see a lot more people, and I got to have
Right.
my picture taken with dogs and cats and all kinds of critters. I didn't want to hold the snakes that came through, but but I
Yeah.
got to see a bunch of people. But my biggest thrill was at the beginning of the season where I had to buy a new suit.
Mhm.
Um, I bought a professional. The Hallmark Channel asked me, or actually, I got hired by a company called Rent a Christmas, and what they do is they go out and they decorate offices and parties and different places for Christmas. They have a bunch
Mhm.
of elves go out and they said, "Hey, would you like to be our Santa?" I said, "I'd love to." And then they said, "Oh, we just got hired by the Hallmark Channel to go and decorate the world's first Christmas con, like Comic Con."
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely! I want to come and I want to do that." And I went, and that was phenomenal. They had
Mhm.
it was a ticketed event. They
Mhm.
sold out 12,000 tickets in 48 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa. And it was a bit of a jumble because it was the first time for everything and everyone, but all the Hallmark Channel Christmas story people, movie stars were there.
Wow.
And I got to have my picture taken with a couple of them. And then I was set up in a little area where the photography stuff was going on,
Mhm.
and I had the most. I think about it now, and it was a really fascinating. I mean, it didn't dawn on me till afterwards, an experience with a child who was severely autistic,
Mhm.
and the mother said, "Oh, he doesn't really speak much." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." And he was dressed as Batman. I said, "Oh, you like Batman? Let me show you this picture." And last year, the previous year, I had done a Comic Con,
Mhm.
a small Comic
Mhm.
Con, at dressed as
Mhm.
Santa, and
Mhm.
everybody hovered around Santa instead of the superheroes. But one of the best picture I have is Batman sitting on Santa's lap.
Oh
And
wow.
so you think of the irony of that, the billionaire asking Santa for stuff.
Yeah.
So I took my phone out. I said, "You got to see this picture." And he was like, "What's that?" I said, "You like Batman, right?" And he said, "Did you know Batman sat on Santa's lap?" And I showed him the picture, and he was like, "Whoa, what did he really want? What did he ask for?" And that when and the mother was just bawling. She was just like
Oh
bawling and bawling because he doesn't communicate with anybody. And all
wow.
of a sudden, he was having a conversation with me, and she was like, "You are the best Santa ever. You must really be Santa because he never talks, he never does this, and he had his attention, and he was."
Oh,
I was like, "Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome."
that
And
is awesome. That is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
So, I mean, I'm sure you probably have lots of stories about,
lots of stories.
things like that. Now, so where was this Hallmark thing at?
It was in Edison, New Jersey, and
Oh, okay.
they asked me to come back again for this year, but don't know if anything's going to
Oh,
happen with all this COVID stuff that's going.
yeah, this is true.
I think right now, the way we're looking at things, it might be a virtual visit from Santa.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and there's a company out there that is looking to hire Santas to do virtual Santa visits, and I've applied to be with them, and we'll see what happens. We'll see
That's
what happens with
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, and
so
in this case scenario, I'd create my own visitation site.
yeah, this is true. Because definitely you have a lot of experience doing that. Now, so for somebody who's listening and this is like you have created this brand for yourself, and of course everybody can identify with the Santa brand,
Right.
but you've had to pivot and do something different and look at different opportunities. So for people who are in that space and with their jobs or industry or even just adjusting to a new normal, what advice would you give them about being able to pivot right now?
Don't give up.
Mhm.
Fight.
Mhm.
Think outside the box. How can you do something? You have something that is of importance.
Mhm.
You are important, and you
Mhm.
need to recognize that. Okay,
Mhm.
and you need to say that you are unique, and if you can't find something that's going on with that, there's got to be another way. And don't give up
Mhm.
looking. And if you need help, seek help. Ask questions. Ask
Mhm.
someone who you look up to for
Mhm.
advice, or reach out to
Mhm.
someone you don't know. Because you never
Mhm.
know. Make a new
Mhm.
friend. Strangers are friends we haven't met yet.
I like
And
that.
we're all brothers and sisters. Um,
Mhm.
uh, you know, and it's just a matter of just reaching out and asking for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Mhm.
Don't be
Mhm.
afraid to ask questions. Don't
Mhm.
be afraid to make a difference. Don't be afraid to do something different.
Mhm.
Change is the only constant in life. So we have
Mhm.
to adapt, we have to pivot, and we have to adapt. We have to be able to think quick on our feet.
Mhm.
Um, we uh, we basically are, something where don't give up. That's the key. Is
Mhm.
be perseverant.
Mhm.
Perseverance pays always.
Mhm.
Perseverance always pays.
That is awesome. Now, so definitely with this mindset, there is things that you have to do in order to maintain it. Because, we have the news every day that's talking about, so many more cases and, opening it back up or closing back up and just the negativity.
Right.
So, what do you do in your daily routine that helps you stay in this place of strong enough to persevere in spite of
Well,
the challenges?
it's a matter of a positive mindset. You have to create
Mhm.
a positive mindset, an I
Mhm.
can mindset,
Mm.
I am mindset, and
Mhm.
we all know who the great I am is, and that's
Mhm.
where the basis of my strength. And I'm proud to say the basis of my strength comes from my faith.
Mhm.
And it's the foundation. And I tell this to all the kids that I know.
Mhm.
It Your faith is the foundation of who you are and what you will
Mm.
become. It's like, without faith, your foundation is like sand. What would you rather
Mhm.
have? A stone foundation, rock solid foundation, or a sandy foundation? For when the flood comes,
Mhm.
what's going to happen?
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
So your faith is your foundation, and it's a part
Mhm.
of you. And it's the individualities, each individual's perceptions of what they do and how they handle things. And if
Mhm.
you do it in the right way, you'll see the positive things happen.
Mhm.
And if you don't see anything happening, maybe you need to start changing what you're doing. And you start
Mm.
look at start with that positive. I am capable.
Mhm.
I am able to do the things that are necessary. I am positive. I am, is the key. I am.
Mhm.
And it's just there was a PDF that I shared with our group that
Mhm.
was from Zig Ziglar, like something
Mhm.
to promote yourself, to improve yourself. Standards. Here's 10 or 12 different statements that you make to yourself in the mirror to build yourself up.
Mhm.
And through that building up with positive reinforcement, positive thinking,
Mhm.
you can and will achieve the things that you want to do.
I love that. And that's one of the things we have to be reminded of, and being in the right company of people that continue to reinforce that, because we all have our days, moments where things may not work out the way we plan, but
Mhm.
having the right support group and system around you is
That, that's
also well.
exact, that's exactly right, and it's the people
Mhm.
that you hang around with. If the people
Mhm.
you hang around with are negative,
Mhm.
and you need to change to a positive mindset, you need to find some new friends. You
Mhm.
know, one at a time. Just find new friends, and
Right.
if one person has, think of it this way: I know 5 people. You know five
Mhm.
people. So if
Mhm.
I come to you and I don't know you, but now I come to know you, and you know 5 people, I'm going to know those 5 people if
Yeah.
you're trusting enough of me. So
Mhm.
my world has grown by 5 people or six
Right.
people. My world has
Right.
grown by 6 people because and because you're positive, I got 6 more positive people in my life.
Mhm. I love that. And that's one way to look at it. That's good. Now, so going on to the whole thing of meeting these people,
Mhm.
people having to network online, virtual, and, doing Zoom calls and stuff. What advice would you give them, about effective ways to network when it's not in face to face?
Well, it's sort of kind of face to face because you get to see people,
Mhm.
you get to see who they are, and you can watch the reactions or whatever.
Mhm.
But try to hook yourself up with people of like mindedness.
Mhm.
All right, so you set your goal, and this is the goal that you want to head. This is the road, the avenue you want to go down, and you
Mhm.
find those people that are already there, or people who are like you, looking
Mm.
to achieve those same goals. You hook up with those people and you
Mhm.
find those groups, and then you make friends. And don't be
Mhm.
afraid. That's the
Mhm.
key. Be not afraid. For I am positive. I am
Mhm.
worthy. I am capable.
I love that. Yeah. And so that's one of the things too is having that affirmation. I think a lot of times we talk more in our head than we do speaking what we want. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so
Exactly.
that's a great point that you bring up, that, about not being afraid.
Right.
So, there is, so with you being Santa, that's pretty much, how do you pivot from that? Is that like a all year round
I would
position?
love
How
it.
does that work for you?
I would love it to be an all year round thing, but
Mhm.
you know what? Christmas should be every day,
Amen.
and everyone has a little bit of Santa in them, and
Mm.
Santa all year round would be to dress up like that would be awesome. But to keep that mindset, the Santa mindset of
Mhm.
how being positive and being the loving person that Santa is a
Mhm.
core part of who I am, you know,
Mm.
and to pivot off of that into other things. I also have a voiceover business, and
Mhm.
um, as a voice actor, I've been a voice actor longer. I've been a voice actor for 12 years.
Mhm.
I've done all kinds of stuff. I've done promos for CBS TV in Singapore, in English,
Mm.
and I've done narrations for Macy's,
Mm.
John Hancock Life Insurance,
Mm.
oh boy, and so many different companies that I've done stuff for Friskies and Walmarts, and
Wow.
I even did a safety video for Facebook
Wow.
years ago. And I did one of the big my first gig ever in voiceover was a walkthrough on how to use a engineering piece of software. And
Wow.
yeah, and it was for a company in Germany,
Mhm.
and it was phenomenal. I mean, it was great. I mean, I was like, this is, God gave me this voice as a gift,
Mhm.
and to use it to help others learn. One of the big things that I'm finding now is in web explainer videos and e-learning
Mhm.
situations where I'm explaining and teaching people in a classroom kind of setting. Um, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's like being a
Mhm.
teacher without being a teacher, and
Mhm.
I get to have fun because I'm behind a mic and I'm pretending that I'm in front of a class, and that all my acting skills come out, so my creativity gets to be flourished, come out and ignited and everything else, and that's where I love being Santa too, because of this creativity that gets to flow from me, and
Mhm.
um, as and it's basically just being an actor.
Yeah.
All, as Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and
All the.
and everyone upon it is, and we are all actors upon the stage.
Mhm.
It's, I get to perform with this gift, which is easy work for me,
Mhm.
because it comes by easy for me, and
Mhm.
it's pleasurable, it's fun, and it's
Mhm.
profitable, and that's the key. It's profitable,
Mhm.
and one of the things that I got that I really enjoyed was I did some. There was a company out there called Pendant Audio, where they did old time radio kind of shows,
Mhm.
and so I was in two plays or shows. In one I was a hero, in the other I was a villain, and
Mm.
it was really cool. They would send me my lines on a monthly basis. I'd read my lines and have fun with it and do whatever, and um and it was a blast. It was a blast. I didn't get paid for it, but I got to play, and that was it. i look,
Right.
I look at voice acting like playing. you know
Mhm.
I get to play and I get paid to
That's awesome.
play.
Yeah, that's good. Now, so you brought up a very good point about, having the spirit or the mindset of
Mhm.
Christmas all year long.
All
So
year.
for many people who, right now they're in this space where, maybe they hadn't had that spirit of Christmas. And even now it's like, your priorities are being challenged,
Mhm.
and, you're deciding, how to move forward. Maybe you lost your job. There's so many unknowns that don't look promising.
Right.
How can somebody start out on the journey to kind of be more kind, in small ways, just something that people can start doing to kind of raise the bar a little bit in their
Mhm.
own lives when it comes to kindness?
Okay. Well, the way I look at it is, the Chinese have that symbol, the yin and the yang. Within
Mhm.
within the good, there's a little dark. Within the black, within the dark, there's a little light.
Mhm.
Well, with all the dark that's going on around us, all the negativity, we have to find the positive. It's there. We have to latch
Mhm.
onto it, and we have to
Mhm.
find that joy of life, the joy of living, one way or another. I mean, we're with family right now, and we
Mhm.
have to look. We have to move away from the focus of the drudgery of what we're doing, and look at where we've been, and look at where we are.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
when we were not at home because we were out working and we were not watching our children grow up. Here we are.
Mhm.
We've got a mixed blessing of being
Mhm.
home with our family and watching our kids and get to see our kids for the first time. In some cases,
Mhm.
look at that and find that and focus
Mhm.
on that and that joy, the joy of life, the joy of giving of that time that we never had to give before
Mhm.
now. And that's what Christmas is about. It's the joy of giving. And
Mhm.
we give of each other, and we, instead of looking for because it's real easy to be negative. The
Mhm.
challenge is to be positive,
Mhm.
because we can, negative doesn't come from above, negative comes from below. And
Mhm.
it's one of those things where, you know, it's the challenge of
Mhm.
being positive and remaining positive. And yeah,
Mhm.
sure, everybody falls, and only one perfect man walked this earth.
Right.
And there was, there's always that opportunity for you to look at the positive and be positive, and look for the joy of life. Look for the joy of what you're doing. You have joy in
Mhm.
your work when you're working. Focus on that joy. Don't focus on
Mhm.
the negativity of not being able to do it. Focus on the job that you did. Focus
Mhm.
on what you're going to do when you come back. And if you're really smart, if you're really, really, really smart, you'll focus on the joy. Take that creativity and create something new. That way you can have more time at home,
Yeah.
and you can be with your family. Create a
Mhm.
new job, create a new idea, move forward. Don't
Mhm.
just sit idly. Idle hands are playground for the devil. But
Mhm.
if we keep ourselves busy and keep ourselves vigilant and keep ourselves
Mhm.
positive, we can make a lot of changes.
Mhm. So true. And I think that's so key to remember, because a lot of times when we get in these spaces of negativity, I was listening to a podcast and they were saying, when you're negative and anxious and stressed out, nothing good comes out of that. You're not having a brilliant idea when you're stressed. It's
Right.
when you have peace and calm, and you're looking at the trees and enjoying the little things that, ideas just continue to breed like, a harvest, right?
Right.
And so that's something key to remember. Those ideas are not coming when you're stressed out and anxious.
Exactly. And you think about this, when you frown, it takes more muscles in your face to make a frown than it does to make a
Mhm.
smile.
Mhm.
And so it's less effort to smile. It's
Mhm.
less effort to just you know zone out. Go outside. Okay, you're
Mhm.
not confined to your house. I mean, this stuff isn't floating around in the air. Okay,
Mhm.
look at the
Mhm.
trees. Go for a walk in your. If you have a yard, let your
Mhm.
feet touch the grass. Reconnect
Mhm.
with the earth.
Mhm.
Let the energy of the universe come through. Be
Mhm.
outside, look at the sun, get that sun shining in. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
energize yourself. It's
Mhm.
nothing. One of the things I always tease Janet about with because I'm a huge Superman fan, and
Mhm.
I just love everything Superman, and so I call her my Lois Lane, because she does all these things, and
Mhm.
and I go outside when I'm with her. It's like when the sun hits me,
Mhm.
after being inside, the sun hits me, and it's like, wow, I get why Superman gets so strong. There is some energy here, and it fills me. It's like,
Mm.
whoa, yeah, I must be. And then I tease her, I must be part Kryptonian, because I'm getting super powered. I'm feeling really energized.
That is so good though. I mean, that is true. You know, and you can't help but to smile. You go outside and you get in the sun for a minute, it's
Yeah,
like, who's frowning in that? You know what I mean? It just
exactly.
automatically lifts your mood. So that is good. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
on the on the subject of Superman, his big thing is that if you because I read all his books and everything else and his whole history. I mean, I'm just such a fanatic.
Mhm.
His big thing is hope. You have
Mhm.
to have hope. There is
Mhm.
no, you cannot not have hope. Hope is
Mhm.
where everything starts.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's with that hope that there's a positive thing. There's positive energy with that, and with that, there's a creative energy that comes along, and the sky's the limit. All you need to do is have hope and not be afraid to embrace it and take
Mhm.
it and move it to the next level. You
I
know,
love that.
yeah, a friend of mine. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. Uh, she told us in one of her classes,
Mhm.
when you have something in front of you and it's bothering you, it's an emotional thing. Embrace
Mhm.
it and then let it go.
Mhm.
Embrace it, understand it, and let it go.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and um, and that's basically what we should do with fear. Embrace
Right.
it, recognize it, and let it go.
Mhm.
And reach out and grab onto, latch onto hope, because it's that
Yeah.
hope that we can do anything and everything.
I love that. That is so good. Now, so what's the best way for the audience to get a hold of you, or and even do you have like any videos or podcasts or something where they could
Well,
see
actually,
your work?
I do have a podcast. It's called the Santa Cast Podcast,
Okay.
and it's a podcast for Santas to help
Mhm.
create a better Santa experience.
Oh,
But
okay.
we have got a lot of someone referred to us as my friend George and I, we do this podcast together, and we talk about different subjects, and then we have interviews. We interview different Santas and Mrs. Clauses and things like that.
Mhm.
And someone commented to us and said, I really enjoyed your show. You are like Click and Clack, the Claus brothers.
That
But
is
it's the
cute.
Santa, and on Facebook, it's the Santa. You can find our page. It's the Santa Cat
Okay.
Podcast,
Okay.
and it's on iTunes as well.
Okay.
You can reach me at my email. Let's see, my Santa email is thesantaanthony at
Mhm.
gmail.com.
Okay.
And I am Anthony Piselli at gmail.com.
Okay.
And and then anthonypiselli.com is my voiceover website. You can
Okay.
see samples of my voiceover work,
Mhm.
um, and some videos that I've done that I did for CBS. And
Okay.
um, what are you doing on your phone? There are. I think that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Okay, that's good. Now, so do you have any words of wisdom for the parents who, they're kind of a little deflated because they're like, man, Santa might be virtual. What am I going to do with my kids? Just some
Well,
ways that they could, be
yeah.
positive about that.
Well, we have to find the positive in it, and that Santa will make a personal visit to every household virtually.
Oh,
Santa
okay.
will be able to be there in every household and spend 10 or 15 minutes with you. 5 or 10 minutes
Right.
with you. As opposed to when you go get your picture taken with Santa, you only get about 5 minutes.
Right.
5 minutes. So we'll get between 5 and 10 minutes with Santa, and Santa will be
Mhm.
able to ask those questions, ask your quest. You can talk to Santa, and Santa can touch base with you and let you know whether just keep being good, keep practicing listening skills.
Mhm.
Just have hope, hope.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and and just feel positive that things will happen. Santa will be there. Santa
Mhm.
is always there.
That's good. All right. Well, I want to thank you, Anthony. I appreciate all your insight and just your words of wisdom. And looking forward to seeing what the future holds for you. This is
Well, thank you so much,
fabulous.
Michelle. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here with you, and I really, really appreciate this.
You are so welcome. And you have a great weekend,
Thank
okay?
you. Have a blessed weekend.
All right, you too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this episode. I really enjoy providing content that inspires and challenges us to be a better version of ourselves. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, please email me at info@lachelleadkins.com. You can also reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, or my YouTube channel. If there was something in this episode that resonated with you, it probably will resonate with someone else. So please share it. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. But those aha moments, those moments of really getting something and changing your perspective are very, very pivotal in having people change the trajectory of their lives. And so being able to share insightful information so that other people can grow is the easiest thing that we can do as we pay it forward. So again, I want to thank you all for listening. And if you have time, write out a review. Go to iTunes, Anchor, wherever you can find this podcast on any of those platforms, and write a review about what impact this episode had on you, what you learned, or whatever. Any feedback is great because it just helps me to understand what content is really beneficial for those that are listening. So again, I want to thank you all for your support and taking the time to spend some time with me and my guests. And I wish you a wonderful day. Thanks for listening.